You've done everything you were told. You stopped eating eggs, you switched to low-fat yogurt, you cut back on butter, maybe you even gave up steak. Yet when you looked at your latest cholesterol test, your LDL barely changed. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. Millions of people faithfully avoid foods they've been told are bad for their heart, only to discover that their cholesterol numbers hardly move. It's frustrating, confusing, and it leaves many people wondering whether healthy eating even works. Here's the truth that surprises almost everyone. Your biggest cholesterol problem may not be what's on your plate. It may be what your body is doing every single day without you even realizing it. Most people believe that the cholesterol in their blood comes mainly from the foods they eat. In reality, your body makes most of its own cholesterol. Your liver works around the clock producing cholesterol because your body actually needs it. Cholesterol is essential for building healthy cells, producing important hormones like estrogen and testosterone, making vitamin D, and creating bile acids that help digest fats. Without cholesterol, your body simply couldn't function. The problem isn't cholesterol itself. Cholesterol only becomes dangerous when too much of it stays circulating in your bloodstream, especially in the form of LDL cholesterol. Over many years, excess LDL can slowly build up inside the walls of your arteries. Those fatty deposits, known as plaques, gradually narrow the arteries and reduce blood flow. Eventually, they can rupture without warning, leading to a heart attack or stroke. That's why doctors pay such close attention to cholesterol levels. It's not because cholesterol is inherently bad, but because keeping it under control is one of the most effective ways to protect your heart and blood vessels. What many people never learn is that your body has a hidden recycling system that plays a huge role in determining your cholesterol levels. Understanding this one process changes the entire conversation about cholesterol. Every day, your liver not only produces cholesterol, but it also converts some of that cholesterol into bile acids. These bile acids are stored inside your gallbladder until you eat a meal. As soon as food enters your small intestine, especially foods containing fat, your gallbladder releases bile to help break down fats so your body can absorb them. Most people assume the bile is simply discarded after digestion, but that's not what happens. Your body is incredibly efficient. After bile finishes its job, your small intestine recovers about 95% of those bile acids and sends them right back to your liver to be used again. Scientists call this process enterohepatic circulation. Think of it like a recycling program. Instead of throwing something away after one use, your body collects it, sends it back, and uses it again and again. It's a remarkable system designed to conserve valuable resources. But here's where things become interesting. Every time bile acids are recycled, your body also conserves the cholesterol used to make them. Instead of allowing that cholesterol to leave your body, it gets reused over and over again. For some people, especially those with certain genetic traits, this recycling process is extremely efficient. As a result, cholesterol stays in the body longer, making it much harder to lower LDL levels through diet alone. This explains something that confuses millions of people. Two individuals can eat the exact same breakfast every morning, yet one has perfectly healthy cholesterol, while the other struggles with persistently high LDL. The difference often comes down to genetics, liver function, gut health, and how efficiently the body recycles cholesterol. That's why simply removing eggs or butter from your diet doesn't always produce the dramatic improvements people expect. Many cholesterol diets fail because they focus entirely on subtraction. People stop eating certain foods, but never add foods that actively help remove cholesterol from the body. Imagine trying to empty a bathtub while leaving the drain plugged. You can stop turning on the faucet, but the water won't disappear unless you open the drain. Your digestive system works in much the same way. If cholesterol continues to be recycled instead of eliminated, your cholesterol levels may barely change despite your best efforts. Fortunately, your body gives you another option. Certain foods contain a special type of fiber known as soluble fiber. Unlike insoluble fiber, which mainly adds bulk to stool, soluble fiber dissolves in water and forms a thick gel-like substance inside your intestines. This gel acts almost like a sponge. As bile acids travel through your digestive tract, soluble fiber binds to them and prevents them from being reabsorbed. Instead of returning to your liver, those bile acids leave your body naturally. Now your liver faces a new challenge. It has to replace the bile acids that were lost. To do that, it pulls cholesterol out of your bloodstream and converts it into fresh bile acids. Day after day, meal after meal, this process can gradually lower LDL cholesterol in a completely natural way. It's one of the reasons why foods rich in soluble fiber have consistently been associated with healthier cholesterol levels in scientific research. Other foods work through an entirely different pathway. Instead of trapping bile directly, they nourish the trillions of beneficial bacteria living inside your gut. These bacteria ferment certain types of dietary fiber and produce compounds called short-chain fatty acids. Those compounds help support healthy cholesterol metabolism, reduce inflammation, strengthen the intestinal barrier, and improve communication between the gut and the liver. Different foods use different mechanisms, but they all work toward the same goal, helping your body eliminate more cholesterol instead of endlessly recycling it. Before we begin counting down the foods, there's one important blood test that's worth discussing with your doctor at least once in your lifetime. It's called lipoprotein A, often written as LPA. Unlike ordinary LDL cholesterol, lipoprotein A is largely determined by your genes. Healthy eating, regular exercise, and even weight loss usually have very little effect on it. Yet elevated LPA is now recognized as an independent risk factor for heart attack, stroke, and certain types of heart valve disease. Many people don't even know they have high LPA because it isn't included in a standard cholesterol panel. If heart disease runs in your family, or if your cholesterol remains high despite living a healthy lifestyle, asking your doctor whether this test is appropriate for you could provide valuable information about your long-term cardiovascular risk. The goal isn't simply to chase lower numbers on a lab report. The real goal is to protect the arteries that carry oxygen and nutrients to every organ in your body. Understanding how cholesterol moves through your body gives you the power to make smarter food choices, not by following myths or outdated advice, but by working with your body's own biology. And that's exactly what we're about to do. Up next are 10 everyday foods backed by scientific research that can help your body remove excess cholesterol naturally, beginning with a humble kitchen ingredient that has been valued for centuries and continues to impress modern medical researchers: garlic. Let's begin with number 10, garlic. Garlic has been used as both food and medicine for thousands of years, and modern research suggests there may be good reason for its reputation. When you crush or finely chop a fresh clove of garlic, it produces a sulfur-containing compound called allicin. This is the chemical responsible for garlic's unmistakable aroma, but it's also one of the reasons researchers have become so interested in it. Studies suggest that garlic may produce a modest reduction in LDL cholesterol, while also helping to reduce oxidative stress and inflammation inside blood vessels. Although garlic alone won't dramatically transform your cholesterol numbers, it can become a valuable part of an overall heart-healthy diet. The key is preparation. Allicin doesn't exist inside an intact garlic clove. It forms only after the garlic is chopped or crushed. If you immediately throw freshly chopped garlic into a very hot pan, much of that beneficial compound can be destroyed before it has time to develop. Instead, crush the garlic first and let it rest for about 10 minutes before cooking. That short waiting period allows the enzyme reaction to produce much more allicin. Then add it near the end of cooking, or enjoy it raw in dressings, dips, or yogurt sauces if you tolerate the flavor. 1 or 2 cloves a day is generally enough. More isn't necessarily better, especially if you're taking blood-thinning medications, since garlic may slightly increase bleeding risk in some individuals. If you're unsure, speak with your healthcare provider. Now let's move to number 9, onions. Onions might seem like an ordinary vegetable, but inside them is a remarkable type of prebiotic fiber called inulin. Unlike most carbohydrates, your body doesn't digest inulin. Instead, it travels to your large intestine, where it becomes food for the beneficial bacteria living in your gut. As these bacteria thrive, they produce compounds called short-chain fatty acids that support healthy cholesterol metabolism and help regulate how your liver processes fats. Over time, this healthier gut environment may contribute to lower LDL cholesterol and better cardiovascular health. Onions also contain a powerful antioxidant called quercetin. Researchers have studied quercetin for its anti-inflammatory effects and its potential role in supporting healthy blood pressure and protecting blood vessels from oxidative damage. The good news is that nearly every member of the onion family offers similar benefits. Red onions, yellow onions, white onions, shallots, leeks, and spring onions all contain valuable nutrients that support heart health. Don't worry if you prefer cooked onions over raw ones. While some nutrients decrease with prolonged cooking, much of the beneficial fiber remains. Adding onions to soups, stir-fries, salads, omelets, beans, or roasted vegetables is a simple way to increase your daily intake without changing your entire diet. Sometimes the healthiest foods are also the simplest. Now for number 8, broccoli. Broccoli is much more than a source of vitamins. It's part of the cruciferous vegetable family, which includes Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, cabbage, and kale. These vegetables contain a natural compound called glucoraphanin. When broccoli is chopped or chewed, glucoraphanin is converted into sulforaphane, one of the most extensively studied plant compounds in nutrition science. Sulforaphane activates protective pathways inside your cells that help reduce oxidative stress and support healthy blood vessel function. Chronic inflammation and oxidative damage play major roles in the development of cardiovascular disease, so reducing these processes can be beneficial for long-term heart health. Broccoli also contributes soluble fiber, which helps bind bile acids and encourages the body to use cholesterol to make new bile. In other words, broccoli works through more than one mechanism. There's one preparation trick that's easy to miss. After chopping broccoli, allow it to sit for about 20 to 30 minutes before cooking. This gives the natural enzyme enough time to convert glucoraphanin into sulforaphane. If broccoli is heated immediately after cutting, much of that conversion may never occur. Steaming is generally one of the best cooking methods because it preserves more nutrients than prolonged boiling. Overcooking broccoli until it's soft and gray reduces both its texture and some of its nutritional value. If broccoli isn't your favorite vegetable, don't give up. Cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, and kale belong to the same family and provide many of the same protective compounds. Now we arrive at number 7, one of the easiest additions you can make to your breakfast: ground flaxseed. Flaxseed may be tiny, but it's one of the richest plant sources of soluble fiber, lignans, and alpha-linolenic acid, a plant-based omega-3 fatty acid. Together, these nutrients support heart health through several different pathways. The soluble fiber binds bile acids inside the digestive tract, encouraging your liver to use cholesterol to produce more bile. The lignans provide antioxidant activity that may help reduce inflammation, while the omega-3 fats support healthy blood vessel function. Multiple clinical studies have shown that regular consumption of ground flaxseed can produce modest but meaningful reductions in LDL cholesterol, especially when combined with an overall healthy eating pattern. There's one important detail many people overlook. Whole flax seeds often pass through the digestive system almost completely intact because their outer shell is extremely tough. If the seed isn't broken open, your body absorbs very little of its nutritional value. That's why ground flaxseed is the better choice. You can purchase it already ground or grind whole seeds yourself using a small coffee grinder. Store the ground flaxseed in the refrigerator to help preserve its healthy oils. Aim for about 1 to 2 tablespoons each day. Stir it into oatmeal, yogurt, smoothies, soups, or even sprinkle it over salads. Its mild flavor blends easily into most meals, making it one of the simplest heart-healthy habits you can adopt. And if flaxseed isn't available, ground chia seeds provide many similar benefits and are another excellent source of fiber and plant omega-3 fats. So far, we've only reached number 7, and you've already seen an important pattern emerging. These foods aren't miracle cures. Instead, they work together by reducing cholesterol absorption, supporting healthy gut bacteria, lowering inflammation, and helping your body eliminate excess cholesterol naturally. But now we're moving into the foods supported by some of the strongest clinical evidence available. The next group includes everyday fruits, nuts, whole grains, and legumes that have repeatedly demonstrated their ability to improve cholesterol levels in scientific studies. Let's continue with number 6, apples. You've probably heard the saying, "An apple a day keeps the doctor away." While it's certainly an oversimplification, there's more truth to it than many people realize. Apples are one of the richest everyday sources of a soluble fiber called pectin. Just like the soluble fiber we discussed earlier, pectin forms a gel inside your digestive tract that binds to bile acids and helps carry them out of your body. To replace those lost bile acids, your liver must pull more cholesterol from your bloodstream, gradually lowering LDL cholesterol over time. But apples offer more than fiber alone. They're packed with natural compounds called polyphenols, particularly in the skin. These antioxidants help protect LDL cholesterol from becoming oxidized. That's important because oxidized LDL is far more likely to contribute to plaque formation inside arteries than LDL alone. Clinical studies have found that people who regularly eat whole apples often experience modest reductions in LDL cholesterol along with improvements in blood vessel function. The key word here is whole apples. Apple juice removes most of the fiber while leaving behind concentrated sugar. Applesauce often contains much less fiber and may include added sugars. If your goal is improving cholesterol, choose the whole fruit whenever possible and eat it with the skin on after washing it thoroughly. One medium apple makes an excellent afternoon snack, especially when paired with a handful of nuts for additional healthy fats and protein. Speaking of nuts, let's move to number 5, walnuts. For years, people avoided nuts because they contain fat. Today, we know that the type of fat matters far more than the amount. Walnuts are especially rich in polyunsaturated fats, including alpha-linolenic acid, a plant-based omega-3 fatty acid. Unlike saturated fats, which can increase LDL cholesterol in many people, these healthier fats help improve the balance of blood lipids and support healthy artery function. Walnuts also contain vitamin E, magnesium, arginine, and numerous plant antioxidants that reduce oxidative stress throughout the cardiovascular system. Several large clinical trials have demonstrated that replacing snacks like chips, cookies, or processed pastries with a small serving of walnuts can reduce LDL cholesterol while improving the health of the inner lining of blood vessels, known as the endothelium. The key word is replace. Adding walnuts on top of an already high-calorie diet won't produce the same benefit. Instead, swap less healthy snacks for about a small handful, roughly 1 ounce or 28 grams of unsalted walnuts each day. If walnuts aren't your favorite, almonds and pistachios are excellent alternatives. The important message is replacing saturated fats with healthier unsaturated fats rather than simply removing fat altogether. Your heart doesn't need a fat-free diet, it needs the right fats. Now we reach number 4, one of the most underrated grains in the grocery store, barley. Most people automatically reach for white rice or refined pasta, never realizing that barley contains one of the most powerful natural cholesterol-lowering fibers available. That fiber is called beta-glucan. Beta-glucan forms a thick, sticky gel inside the digestive tract that traps bile acids extremely efficiently. Because of this mechanism, barley has been studied extensively for its ability to lower LDL cholesterol. Research has consistently shown that diets rich in beta-glucan can produce meaningful reductions in LDL cholesterol within just a few weeks when eaten regularly. Barley also has another advantage. Compared with refined grains, it has a much lower impact on blood sugar. Stable blood sugar helps reduce insulin resistance, and improving insulin sensitivity often supports healthier cholesterol and triglyceride levels as well. Instead of serving white rice with dinner, try substituting cooked barley once or twice each week. It works beautifully in soups, vegetable stews, grain bowls, and salads. If you have access to whole barley rather than pearled barley, choose the whole version whenever possible because it retains more fiber. Here's another simple trick. Cook barley ahead of time and refrigerate it overnight. Cooling cooked grains creates resistant starch, another type of fiber that feeds beneficial gut bacteria and further supports metabolic health. Sometimes small preparation changes create surprisingly meaningful health benefits. Now we're down to number 3, black beans. If there were one inexpensive food that nearly every cardiologist and nutrition scientist would agree deserves a place on your plate, beans would be high on the list. Black beans provide an impressive combination of soluble fiber, resistant starch, plant protein, magnesium, potassium, and countless beneficial plant compounds. Together, these nutrients support healthy cholesterol levels from multiple directions. The soluble fiber binds bile acids. The resistant starch nourishes beneficial gut bacteria. The plant protein provides a satisfying alternative to higher saturated fat animal proteins. And because beans digest slowly, they also help stabilize blood sugar, reducing the spikes that contribute to insulin resistance over time. Large reviews of clinical studies have shown that regularly eating legumes, including black beans, lentils, chickpeas, and kidney beans, is associated with meaningful reductions in LDL cholesterol and improvements in overall cardiovascular health. Many people avoid beans because they're concerned about gas or bloating. If that's you, don't give up after the first few days. Your gut bacteria need time to adapt to increased fiber intake. Start with smaller portions. Rinse canned beans thoroughly before eating, or soak dried beans overnight before cooking. Most people notice that digestive discomfort decreases significantly within a couple of weeks as their gut microbiome adjusts. Aim for about half to 1 cup several times each week. Beans are one of the rare foods that are affordable, versatile, filling, and strongly supported by decades of nutritional research. At this point, you may have noticed something interesting. None of these foods work by burning cholesterol. They don't magically dissolve plaque overnight. Instead, they support your body's own natural systems, improving gut health, increasing fiber intake, reducing inflammation, and helping your liver remove excess cholesterol more efficiently. And now we've reached the final 2 foods on our list. These are the nutritional heavyweights with some of the strongest scientific evidence for lowering LDL cholesterol naturally. One of them is probably already sitting in your kitchen, and together they can become the foundation of a heart-healthy eating pattern that benefits not only your cholesterol, but your blood sugar, digestion, and long-term longevity. Let's continue with number 2, navy beans. Now we're down to number 2, navy beans. Black beans are excellent, but if there's one bean that truly stands out for cholesterol reduction, it's the humble navy bean. Despite its simple appearance, navy beans are one of the richest natural sources of soluble fiber you can buy. Just 1 cooked cup provides an impressive amount of fiber, including the exact type that binds to bile acids inside your digestive system. Remember the recycling loop we talked about earlier? Every time soluble fiber captures bile and carries it out of your body, your liver has to manufacture new bile acids, and the raw material it uses is cholesterol already circulating in your bloodstream. That means every bowl of fiber-rich beans is quietly encouraging your liver to pull more LDL cholesterol out of your blood. But navy beans do something else that makes them especially valuable. They're also packed with resistant starch. Unlike ordinary starch, resistant starch isn't digested in your small intestine. Instead, it reaches your colon, where beneficial bacteria ferment it into compounds called short-chain fatty acids. These compounds help reduce inflammation, improve gut health, strengthen the intestinal barrier, and even influence how your liver handles cholesterol production. Scientists are learning that your gut microbiome isn't just involved in digestion, it's actively involved in cholesterol metabolism, blood sugar regulation, and even immune function. The healthier your gut bacteria become, the better they support many aspects of your overall health. The best part is that you don't have to eat navy beans every single day. Lentils, chickpeas, kidney beans, cannellini beans, pinto beans, and black beans all provide similar benefits. Rotate them throughout the week, add them to soups, mix them into salads, use them in chili, blend them into spreads, or simply replace 1 or 2 meat-based meals each week with a bean-based alternative. It's an inexpensive habit that can pay dividends for decades. And now we've arrived at number 1, the food supported by some of the strongest scientific evidence for naturally lowering LDL cholesterol: oats. For many people, this simple breakfast can become the foundation of a heart-healthy lifestyle. Like barley, oats are naturally rich in beta-glucan, the soluble fiber that has been studied extensively for its cholesterol-lowering effects. Once beta-glucan reaches your digestive tract, it forms a thick gel that binds bile acids and slows cholesterol absorption. Clinical trials have repeatedly shown that consuming about 3 grams of beta-glucan daily can lower LDL cholesterol by roughly 5 to 10%, especially when combined with an overall heart-healthy eating pattern. That may not sound dramatic at first, but think about the long-term impact. A small improvement maintained year after year can substantially reduce cardiovascular risk over time. The key is choosing the right type of oats. Steel-cut oats and old-fashioned rolled oats contain far more intact fiber than many instant-flavored packets, which often contain added sugars and highly processed grains. If you want to maximize the benefit, top your oatmeal with fresh berries, a tablespoon of ground flaxseed, a few chopped walnuts, and a sprinkle of cinnamon. In one simple breakfast, you've combined several of the most evidence-based cholesterol-lowering foods into a single meal. And unlike restrictive diets that leave you hungry, this breakfast is satisfying, affordable, and easy to prepare. Now, before we finish, there's one important question we need to answer. What if you eat all these foods, you exercise, you lose weight, and your cholesterol is still high? The answer may have nothing to do with your effort. Genetics play a major role in cholesterol metabolism. Some people inherit genes that cause their liver to produce more cholesterol than average. Others absorb more cholesterol from their intestines. Some have inherited conditions like familial hypercholesterolemia, where LDL cholesterol remains dangerously high despite an excellent lifestyle. If high cholesterol runs strongly in your family, if relatives developed heart disease at unusually young ages, or if your LDL remains very high despite months of healthy eating, please don't blame yourself. This isn't a personal failure. It may simply be the way your body is programmed. That's why lifestyle changes and medical treatment should never be viewed as competitors. They work together. For some people, these dietary changes are enough to reach healthy cholesterol levels. For others, medications such as statins provide additional protection while healthy eating enhances their effectiveness. The goal isn't proving that food is better than medicine. The goal is protecting your heart for the next 20 or 30 years. So where should you start? Don't try to change everything overnight. Choose one meal. Breakfast is usually the easiest. Replace a sugary cereal or processed pastry with a bowl of oatmeal topped with ground flaxseed and fresh fruit. At lunch, add beans to your salad instead of processed meats. Snack on an apple and a handful of walnuts instead of chips or cookies. Include broccoli, onions, and garlic with your dinner a few times each week. These may seem like small decisions, but heart disease doesn't develop overnight. And better health doesn't happen overnight either. It's built meal by meal, day by day, choice by choice. One final reminder before we finish. No single food can erase years of unhealthy habits. No vegetable can instantly unclog an artery, and no internet video should replace the advice of your physician. If you've already had a heart attack, stroke, diabetes, kidney disease, or you're currently taking cholesterol-lowering medication, continue following your doctor's treatment plan and discuss any dietary changes with them. Think of these foods as powerful partners, not miracle cures. When combined with regular physical activity, good sleep, avoiding smoking, maintaining a healthy weight, and taking prescribed medications when needed, they become part of a comprehensive strategy for protecting your cardiovascular health. Your heart beats nearly 100,000 times every single day. It never takes a vacation. It never asks for recognition. It simply keeps working to keep you alive. The least we can do is give it the nutrients it needs to keep doing that job for many years to come. If you found this video helpful, let us know in the comments which of these foods you're going to add to your meals first.